Hi, Michael. Sarah from The Upcoming. So for people who don't know what's going to happen in this documentary, how do you summarize what goes on in Fahrenheit 11/9?
There's a number of car chases that are exhilarating. There is I don't know how to summarize this film. I've been doing this for 4 weeks now, and I really don't have. I can't explain this movie because it was made during a very dark time in the United States, and I think that its ability to move audiences has been profound, and that's what I've witnessed. That people are finally kind of getting what the problem is here, and it's like we're trapped in the Matrix, and where's the portal? You know.
It can sometimes feel, though, right now that people just become more entrenched in their views and people are becoming more polarized. So,
Polarization is good. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I am the polar opposite of the people who believe that they have a right to decide what you can do with your reproductive organs. I am the polar opposite of that. I want the polarization. I want them defeated. And thankfully, 60% of the American public agree with me on nearly all the issues, and so that gives me some comfort. But no, the people who believe that climate change isn't real, I am the polar opposite. The people that believe we should be locking up people because they've been caught with marijuana, I'm the polar opposite. So I'm all for that division, and I'm for victory on our side if we will ever get up and organize ourselves in the way that we should.
And was there a moment in the making of this documentary where you felt particular despair and another moment that you felt some kind of hope?
I haven't felt any hope for some time. Sorry to say that. I am a happy person, though, sort of. Yes, the film was made with a lot of, I think, a lot of despair that people are feeling, and a realization that he can't be beaten. It's just started to dawn on people. I've been trying to tell people since before he was elected, that he was going to beat us. And everybody would just laugh at me and thought I was making a joke or, pulling their leg or whatever. What's the term over here? Huh? No, I don't. I forgot there is. I can't remember what the British term is, but,
And I think
wanker, right?
That's what I was going to say. Do you want to say it?
And we have a president who's a bit of a nutter. How am I doing?
Yeah, good.
Good. Okay. All right. Anyways, go ahead.
I think in a previous press conference, you'd actually predicted Brexit might happen. What do you think is going to be the outcome from next March?
Well,
what role might Trump have?
I was here in the UK in the week before Brexit with my last film, and after a week here, traveling London, Sheffield, Belfast, I could see that Brexit was going to win, even though the polls showed that Brexit wasn't going to win. To me, if you just talk to people, like people, not in the bubble that we're in here, people were not necessarily happy about the idea of leaving the European Union, but they loved the idea that the elites hated it, and this could be their Molotov cocktail to throw into the system that has not done them well. So you think of all the Brits and the Americans who in the last 20, 30 years, whose lives haven't gotten better. Brexit became a way to really stick it to them. And Trump was the same thing. And when I saw that happening here, we went back right after Brexit and we said, this is going to happen here, folks. Except it's called Trump. Trexit. It was awful. And I couldn't get anybody to listen. Seriously, like you're laughing right now. People were just thinking I was just making a joke. I said, no, this is going to happen. Mike, are you serious? Who's going to vote for him? I said, well, I'll tell you who. The people where I live out in the Midwest. Again, they don't like Trump. But Trump just represented that bomb that they could throw into a system that hadn't served them well. And that's exactly what they did.
Can you quickly tell me what your next topic might be that you'll tackle?
The next thing I tackle won't be a topic. Let's just put it that way. I'll try to stay out of jail. I think this movie is so relevant to what you're dealing with here. And frankly, just in these last few years, each time I've come here, I go home feeling bad about the United Kingdom. It's first of all, it's not much of a kingdom anymore. Let's just be honest. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And there isn't much great about Britain anymore, if we can be completely honest.
I'm
right?
Scottish. You can slag UK
Okay,
off
all
as
right.
much as you
I'm
want.
just saying. I'm just saying the truth here. All right. I mean, I love everybody here. Just don't get me wrong. But the way that the UK seems to constantly wanting to try to emulate the United States, and most recently with dismantling bit by bit your National Health Service, is just the saddest thing to see. That you're allowing capitalism to essentially run the government and not the people. And so, which is so ironic that of all places that this would happen. When I did a show at the Roundhouse years ago, and I had a little hut behind the place, in that neighborhood right behind the main center of Camden Town. And I would walk there every night to do my show, and there was a plaque on a house that said that this is where Frederick Engels lived, and Marx and Engels, would meet there. And I touch the plaque every night on the way over there, and I think, because this country provided a refuge for people who were trying to think things out a little differently, and trying to make sure that the wealthy and the uber rich wouldn't run the show. So many of these ideas percolated here, were born here, were fought for here. What happened? Well, there's two odd views we have. Yes, that this is the place where they fight for the workers. False. And that whether it's the Crown or the Queen Victoria show or Downton Abbey, it's just it's like any kind of fantasy place. It's like a fantasy island. Like what if life were all like that?
Absolutely.
So, but I don't know. But yeah, Americans, 70% of us don't have a passport. Okay, so we don't ever get out of the house and go anywhere or see what the world's like or what you're like or whatever. So, well, the Democrats certainly don't have anybody that's going to beat Trump in 2020.
Not even like a Cory Booker or a Kamala
No,
Harris, anything like
no.
that.
Wonderful people, but no. Win? No. Win, you have to think like they think. They ran Reagan. They run popular people. They run people that people like and they've seen on TV. We need to run Oprah.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama would win.
Yeah.
People like that. But run a politician and win won't happen now. Wow. I don't know if the film is optimistic. I think it's kind of a bitter pill in a way. At least for Americans it is. I don't know how will people respond to it here. I don't know. But Trump, there's nothing that indicates anything other than the fact that Trump will get a second term at this point. The Democratic Party is kind of a inept organization that doesn't know how to run campaigns or candidates or just run people that are beloved by Americans. So that we'll hope for the best here, I guess, and hope that it won't happen. But hope, as the movie points out, is not a method. It's not. It's funny when you're in ninth grade in the U.S. You're shown a 20-minute documentary in sex ed class called "Hope Is Not a Method." That's kind of where we're at. Well, I hope that people get a couple of hours out of the house, go see a movie that gives them some kind of feeling of whatever that is, joy or sadness, anger. Maybe it's thoughtful. I probably want what every other filmmaker wants, which is that for when people leave after 2 hours to say, wow, that was a great way to spend 2 hours. So in terms of what I hope for politically, that's based on what's going to happen in the election in November, and I'm hoping that people will come out and vote. But I live in a country where the largest political party is the non-voter party. Yeah, I think a lot of people, since Trump's election, a lot of artists, others have probably just wanted to keep their head down and keep moving forward as best they can. I think there's a lot of despair. I think people are very depressed right now, and they're starting to realize what I've been saying from the beginning, is that he's outsmarted all of us and that he's smarter than us. And part of his performance art is coming off like such a dumbass. And he's anything but. How he got Brett Kavanaugh through was just another piece of his genius. And smart people keep saying to themselves, how'd that happen? You know, they still haven't figured him out yet. They've had a lot of time because he's been around New York for 40 years doing the same shtick for 40 years. And the press they never took him seriously. They always thought of him as a joke, tabloid fodder, you know, front page of all the Murdoch papers, best sex ever, that kind of stuff, you know. So that's who Trump was. Nobody ever paid attention to what he was always really doing, which was screwing people. Yes, I stuck into Mar-a-Lago and was in there for about 15 minutes, unable to get to the president, who they said wasn't there, but Don Jr. was there. So, you know, if you have to settle for Don Jr., get what you can get. But, no, it's Steve Bannon. Yes, Steve Bannon would not allow me to turn on the camera, and I was not going to secretly film him. So I just talked to him for 2 hours, and I asked him how he did it, how they pulled this off. And he said, we said, well, the difference between our side and your side is that we go for the head wound, and your side has pillow fights. And I just looked at him and I thought, wow, the truth of that is immense.